Well, my name's Dan. I've been here for 28 years at the cemetery, roughly. And there's quite a few stories up here. One of the weirder stories is, probably 8, maybe 9 years ago. This whole section here behind me, we used to have to water manually. And so we'd come in early every morning and turn it on so that we'd know it had come on and go off when it was supposed to. And that particular night, we had a really big lightning storm, and with very little rain. But I remember it being a really cool storm. And that morning I came to, it wasn't daylight yet, I came in to turn the water on. And this old building behind me here is the oldest building at the cemetery. And I went in there to turn the power onto this irrigation system, and for some strange reason, and I'd never felt that way before, and I've never felt that way since, when I went to stick the key in the door, I thought that somebody was in there. I felt like somebody had kicked the door in and got in there to get out of that storm. And I felt so strongly about it that I thought I was going to step on somebody in the dark. And of course it's got the little pull chainy light in the middle of the room, not one that you can turn on and kind of survey the surroundings before you move. So I'm walking expecting to step on somebody in the dark and groping around for the chain, and I find it and turn the light on, and on the back wall in front of me is it looks like smoke, but it's a black orb about this big. And the first thing that came to my mind was it looked familiar to me. It was a strange sensation of, this is familiar. And I couldn't tell if it was smoke, and I couldn't smell anything, and then it dawned on me, well, that's my shadow. And I looked at the light on the ceiling, and I looked down, and my shadow's, of course, on the floor. And I kept staring at it, and as I walked toward it slowly, it started to cascade down and change shape. And there was actually a grain to it. It looked like bugs, small flies, but it was grainy. And as it cascaded down, it had shoulders. It was my height, and pretty soon it was a human form. And I thought, well, it's got to be my shadow. And I looked again at the door to see if there was any light coming in, and this went on for about 2 or 3 minutes. I wasn't afraid. Again, it looked really familiar. As I took another step toward it, it went back into a very small ball, even darker, and was just rotating. And it came right toward my face, and I was froze. I moved my head to the side, and it went right by my head, and I thought, well, whatever that is, it wants out. And I waited for a second, and I turned my head to see if it had gone out the door, and it was right here on my shoulder. And I stepped back looking at it, and it dispersed into the wall. Haven't seen it since. Wasn't scared, but it was definitely something that I can't explain.